Well, hello everybody, welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to do another very simple recipe with not too many ingredients, and that is going to be a Bakewell Flapjack. Bakewell Tarts are a pastry case with a frangipan made of ground almonds and eggs and such like, and sugar inside, with a layer of raspberry jam and some flaked almonds on top. Sometimes people put cherry jam in and some sort of glacé cherries on top with an icing, but I'm going to do the raspberry version, and this is going to be a flapjack. So instead of the pastry and the frangipan, I'm going to use porridge oats and some ground almonds, just a little bit of ground almonds for the flapjack base. Very easy to make and won't take very long at all. So I have my oven preheating at 170 Celsius, that's 150 Celsius with a fan, 340 Fahrenheit, and I've lined an 8-inch part, greased it and lined an 8-inch cake tin with parchment paper. That's just so that the flapjack will be easy to take out of the pan once it's cooled down. So we'll go on to the ingredients, and for that I have 375 grams, which is about 3 cups of porridge oats. Now I had rolled oats, and I actually just broke those down in the food processor just a little bit. But if you don't have to do that, but I did it just so they're slightly smaller. I have 227 grams of unsalted butter, which is 2 sticks. I have 96 grams, 6 tablespoons of golden syrup. You could use corn syrup if you wanted to. You could even use honey if you wanted to. 30 grams, 3 tablespoons of ground almonds. 110 grams, which is half a cup plus a tablespoon of soft brown sugar. I have 4 heaped tablespoons of raspberry jam, and that works out at about 150 grams. I also have a teaspoon of almond extract, and if you don't have that, it doesn't matter, but that gives the almond flavour that Bakewell Tart is usually famous for. And I have half a teaspoon of salt. I also have some icing sugar, and I'm going to use 175 grams of that to make an icing to go on the top. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to do that and with mine. So what I'm going to do is to put my butter and my sugar and the golden syrup into a saucepan, and I'm going to put that onto my stove and just melt that all together. Now you don't need to watch that, it's just a question of putting the heat on and leaving it until it melts, giving it a stir from time to time. And then once I've done that, I'll be back with you and we'll add the remaining ingredients. So that's our butter and sugar and golden syrup mixed together and melted. So what I'm going to do, I've mixed my ground almonds in with my oats. I'm going to sprinkle the salt into the liquid, and I'm going to put my almond extract in as well. Give that a stir around, and then I'm going to add the ground almonds and the oats, and I'm going to mix those around until they're all combined. And the liquid has been absorbed into the dry ingredients. And if you think it's too wet, you can add some more oats. And if you think it all looks too dry, you can add some more golden syrup. So that actually looks quite good. It's very moist. So I'm going to put about half of that in the bottom of my prepared tin. And I'm going to spread that out across the bottom of the tin. And with that quite even, I'm going to take my jam and spread that on the top. So that's fairly evenly spread across the top of that bottom layer, and then I'm going to put the remaining oats on the top. I need to level that out as well. And with that spread fairly evenly over the top, I'm going to put it into the oven and I'm going to bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. And then I'll take it out and let it cool down completely, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like, and then we'll make a quick water and icing sugar icing, and we'll put that on the top. Then when that has firmed up, I'll be able to cut it and we'll have a taste. I baked the Bakewell Flapjack for 35 minutes. In fact, I decided that mine was a little bit wet and needed a few minutes extra. So if I'd have added a few more oats, or if I'd have processed my oats to a more powdery texture, in some cases it would have absorbed the liquid quicker. But anyway, I baked for 35 minutes. I've let it cool down, and this is what it looks like. Now you could simply cut this and eat this just as it is, and it would taste wonderful. But I'm going to make some icing, and so I have here 175 grams, which is 1 cup plus 3 tablespoons of icing sugar. And into that I'm going to put 2 tablespoons or thereabouts of water, and I'm going to stir that around, and it should quite quickly form an icing. And you can have this as thick or as thin as you want, and you can drizzle it over, or you can spread it, if it's thick enough, spread it so that you cover the entire surface. And so, as you can see, that's quite thick, so I'm going to add the remainder of that second tablespoon. That will loosen it just a bit to incorporate the rest of the sugar. As you can see, that's now a dropping consistency, and you could easily just trickle that across in sort of zigzags if you wanted to. But what I'm going to do is to coat the entire surface, and I've left this paper here so that I can close it back up so that the icing doesn't run down the side. And I don't want it to be too thick, so I will spread that and see how we get on with that amount. I can use a little bit more, I think. And with that like that, I'm actually going to leave that to set up, and once it's set up, it won't go hard, it's not a royal icing, but it will firm up a little bit, and then when it's firmed up I will cut it and I'll come back and we'll have a taste. So I let the icing set a little bit, and I've cut my Bakewell Flapjacks into 16 squares, and it's going to be quite sweet and quite rich, so small squares is a good idea, I think. This is what it looks like now, and I'll just have a taste of one. That tastes so good. The lovely raspberry flavour. You've got the texture of the oats, the raspberry flavour, and you've got the almond flavour coming through from the almond extract. Very, very good indeed, I think. And another one of these very simple recipes. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll also put a link below the video. Then I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future, so until then, happy baking.